Okay, this is my recommended route to Diamond Heights from Mid-Mark. So this road is dangerous, so I only stay on it for a half block. This is 10th. I'm gonna go right on to Mission. It's pretty short, so the traffic doesn't get to a very high speed. This left is illegal from this lane, so I'm going to be mildly naughty and use the crosswalk. Now I'll just be good and wait for this light to change in 6 seconds. And I'm rolling, and here the bike lane starts, so it's safer. Much less traffic here on 11th than 10th. That was my loud bicycle horn, which is basically our car horn mounted on a bike. Comes in handy surprisingly frequently. So the reason I honked there was blind corner because of a panel truck parked in front of the alley, and I was just a few seconds ahead of a car that would have had a really hard time seeing me. Car up here parked in the car. Hard to see pedestrian. Okay. So now we're to Harrison, which is a great way to get down to the Mission without having to use Valencia, which is terrible on a Friday night, which is what tonight is. Again, the horn. Guy has a right of way since we got there at roughly the same time, and he was on the right per the California codes. People are typically really surprised when I do that, which is a sad testament about the lawlessness of bicyclists in San Francisco, I'm afraid. I did the slow down to almost zero rolling stop, which is technically illegal, but everybody does. It was on the ballot recently. Ill-behaved pedestrian again. Guy literally could have waited 4 seconds and just gone with the light. So as you can see, this route on Harrison is pretty clear. I've gone Valencia this time of night and it's just awful. Skateboarders, double parked cars. Maybe I'll do another exploratory ride there just so you can see the extreme difference in safety between these routes. Just past Mission Cliffs, which I've never been to, but I understand is a nice climbing gym / yoga place. Okay, now here's an important tip. This guy's turning right, so the place I am supposed to be is on the left. Guy tried to push in front of me. Probably should have hit the horn. So notice how far out the door zone goes. Oh, here's Mission Cliffs. I was a little early. Always confuses me that this isn't a stop sign. Crosswalk but no stop sign. So as you've heard many times before, good lighting, high visibility, very important. Got a flashing front light, flashing back light, light in my spoke, bright yellow jacket on. So in a situation like this, you always want to look at the front tires. It's a very good predictor about whether anybody's a threat or not. This is 22. We'll politely signal and turn here. So 22nd is official bike route. It's a little bit wider than some of the nearby streets, the adjacent streets. It's good. One of the really nice things about riding the electric bike at full power is that you really go a little faster, which makes the cars less frustrated if they're behind you. Legally, they have to treat you as a vehicle, but what's legal and what they do are not always the same thing. So nearly keeping speed with car traffic, ironically, a lot safer than going at 10 miles an hour. As you can see, ill-behaved cyclists are a big problem. Guy had no lights, didn't even slow for the four-way stop. Oh, and as I should point out, we're now in the Mission, and that was our first total douchebag movie we saw. So it's, in my experience, not a coincidence. I don't usually push past the cars in a situation like this. I figure it's cool to not get in front of the guy and then slow down. I'm not gonna let the guy behind me get past me, but I'm not gonna pop in front of this guy either. So the mission on a Friday night. Total disaster as promised, but lucky for me I've only got to endure about 3 or 4 blocks of it. I might squeeze by this guy on the right if it was possible. Yeah, total craziness as predicted. 12 seconds. I probably shouldn't push this. We'll see what happens up front. I'm alright. Horn comes in handy again. Of course, if I were a little more rational, I would have avoided that whole risk by just waiting for the light, but we're not always perfectly rational. Alright. It's a little tricky. I should just let this guy go right and not complicate things. Giant Google-ish bus. Very polite. Generally pretty good drivers. Probably underpaid. Chattanooga. My route home has sort of a Civil War theme with the street names on the part that's hard to remember. Or at least a Old South theme. So I slightly deviate from the bike route a little here. The reason is I don't like going through routes where the traffic doesn't stop at one of my lights. So I deviate for 2 blocks onto 24, which is generally pretty safe right here. A lot of traffic, a lot of stop signs, so it doesn't get going too fast. Have to be mindful of the train. Signal and turn left. Vicksburg, keeping with the Civil War theme. Well, Jersey's not exactly Civil War theme, but This is where we turn. All right. Of course, I suppose it could have been one of the Northern Armies. So Jersey's a good street. This parallels Clipper, and it has a whole lot less traffic. And I think a slightly more consistent climb. There's no way to get to Diamond Heights this route without doing at least one really steep stretch. But Clipper has the disadvantage of really steep short parts where cars are coming up behind you. It's the official bike route, but probably shouldn't be. At least not in the uphill direction. As you can see, super light traffic on this route so far. It's dark, but normally I'd have a headlight. My light is at the shop, or I guess I'm waiting for a battery. Yeah, like I said before, I've chosen a route where every intersection where I have to stop, the cross traffic has to stop too, which I highly recommend. I was gonna make a comment about how far out the effective door zone extends. I'm afraid that short skirt completely distracted me. Behind me, the guy's being cool and not pushing me at all, which is nice. Pretty amicable, friendly ride home, really. Except for that one jerk cyclist. All right. Time for a steep motherfucking hill, but I have my wonderful electric bike. Looks like there's a problem with the front fork. I'm gonna be fine. So I got this bike from the New Wheel on Cortlandt in San Francisco. Great shop. Should be prepared for electric bikes to cost more than you expect, but I've put about 7,000 or 8,000 miles on this one. It's been totally worth roughly $3,000 I paid for it. By any measure, by the health benefit, by not having to circle in San Francisco looking for parking. Alright, since my fork is fucked up, I can't lock it. But that's alright. I'll soldier on here. Do a little serpentine move. Can't really stand up with an unlocked fork and get any inefficiency out of it. perfectly fine for the uphill bit. Where there's a lane, like I said, where there's not a lane, I really don't recommend it for the uphill.